Alright, so I'm going to show you how to set up the X, Y, and Z without modifying what I have here. The best way to do it is to actually remove the vise, but we're going to do it this way. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to rotate the vise 90 degrees, doesn't really matter which direction. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to probe the back side of this parallel. Alright, so you can do this with, you know, with an edge finder or whatever. I just happen to have a probe here. So I'm going to go ahead and probe the back side of that parallel. Alright, we're going to move that parallel out of the way. Move the head out of the way, and we're going to rotate. We're going to rotate the fourth axis back the opposite direction, 90 degrees. And before we do anything else, we need to look at the offset here. Okay, so what we're looking at is this this number right here. I probed on the G54, so I'm going to write this number down. Alright, so now we're going to come and probe on this side of the parallel. And on this axis, you don't actually have to subtract the two. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and probe in that direction. And using the top of the vise or a 1, 2, 3 block would probably be better. Like I said, this is just for show. Alright, now we're looking at this 9.3126, so we'll go ahead and write that down. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add these two numbers, 7.2714 plus 9.3126. That's a negative number, and we're going to divide that by 2. Alright, so that should give us negative 8.292 as the center of our Y. Okay, so this is what I currently had set up in here, 8.2912, and the number we just got was 8.292, so it's about 0.8 difference. I attribute that to probably using the parallel instead of using the 1, 2, 3 block that I used before. So be sure to use a 1, 2, 3 block, but you use it the exact same way that I'm using this parallel. Alright, so when I set my my Z, what I actually did, I didn't have the vise on. I probed the top of this, then I flipped it, I mounted a parallel to it, clamped a parallel down, and then measured the back side, so I'm measuring the exact same plane here, on top and bottom, and then that gave me my Z. We'll go ahead and do the same thing, sort of, with this parallel. Like I said, it's not going to be as exact, but basically we're going to probe the top of the parallel and probe the bottom of the parallel and subtract half of the parallel. So let's do that. so we're going to take down that number. That number is 167526. All right. Get out of there. All right, rotate that over. And we will go ahead and probe the Z again here. Alright, go to our offsets. And for the Z offset, we have 186614. Write that down. Okay, so the numbers were 16.7452 plus 18.6614. Add those together, divide by 2 again. Now that's the number without the half of the parallel. I'm measuring a parallel over here from the same set, and it's measuring 128.2. But the number comes out to actually 1244. So you really want to measure it with a 123 block or something of a very specific known size. So if you look there, the number I actually have in the machine when I did it, you know, the better way with a 123 block was 17.7655. So 17.7655. So that'd be half of whatever, you know, the parallel is. So the parallel is not measuring the exact thickness. So again, like I said, the best way to do it is measure the top of your fourth axis plate, your fixture plate, and then rotate it, and then clamp something nice and flat on it that's sticking off the edge. Flip it 180 and measure it there, and that should get you exactly where you want to be. Okay, so as far as the X goes, in this case, it's not super critical unless you're rotating your vise, like in a fifth axis orientation, or but we don't have that ability here. So right now, I'm not worrying about it. So I just centered between the two jaws, just probed in between the two, and got my center point for the X in this case. And like I said, it's not super important unless you're going to rotate the vise 90 degrees. So on here, I can't actually rotate it. I should say I can't rotate it easily. I have to take out these screws. There's 4 of them. Rotate it, put it back in. Then I'd have to center everything up again. And but Chip from Moreside is actually making me something that where this vise will rotate 90 degrees and potentially at other angles as well, but definitely 90 degrees. So I'll have to do a video on that once I get that sorted out. So anyway, that is how I found the center, my orientation on this. And of course, when you first get this set up, you need to probe in. You know, you need to dial in to make sure everything's square. And on this, there's a bung, I think they call it, but it's just a little protrusion that sticks out that fits perfectly into the bore on here, and that kind of gets everything where you want it to be set up square. All right, hope that helps. Thanks for watching.